Hi everyone, Quiveen here from the comfort of my kitchen. In today's video, we are looking at the Perseids. Again, I did take a quick look at the Perseids last year at around this time, but they are such an impressive meteor shower, they deserve to be mentioned again. The moon is after coming into the sky. We're here on the 12th of August, the night that the Perseids are expected to peak. It looks like we're in the countryside. That's a little premature. We'll come back into the city for now, just because I know a lot of people live in cities, so chances are you live in a city and that you will be observing these from the city. It's not ideal, but it is likely. So we can see the moon here setting just after sunset. The moon's going down about the time that Saturn is coming up, and the moon will be out of the sky. We're at a good level of darkness just here, 10:30. Not too late at all. We're looking into the south here. We can tell by the summer triangle. We need to turn over towards, firstly, the square of Pegasus here. We can use the square of Pegasus to go in the direction of the Andromeda Galaxy, which is just about here, and just past the Andromeda Galaxy, more directly under the W of Cassiopeia, over here is where we have the constellation of Perseus, where the Perseids radiate from. So here are our radiants. We have our antihelion point, which is always there. We've got our southern delta Acarids and alpha Capricornids, which are tiny meteor showers that have not contributed a lot to the sky. If we take a quick click here, yeah, it's 0. It would have maxed out at about 5. This is 0, would have maxed out at about 25, but there's a good chance that we'd miss a lot of them in the northern hemisphere here. Moving over to the Perseids, and we can see it can get to 100, and we're seeing it here at 85, so quite a high rate of meteors. If we move through time just a little bit, yeah, the local hourly rate is changing. The total ZHR isn't changing too much. It went down just a little bit, but we can see it there, maximum on the 12th. It runs from the 16th to the 24th, and I think this is a little bit of an issue. Some of these meteor showers do run for a long time, but when people say, for example, at the beginning of August, even just a few days ago, even in the middle of August, when people say, oh, the Perseid meteor shower has begun, it's one of the best meteor showers of all year, you should get outside and take a look at it because the meteor shower has begun, the Perseids are ongoing. Yes, 3 ZHR, lower than what would be considered a minor meteor shower. The Perseids run for a long period of time, but they peak on 1, maybe 2 nights of the month. The night of the 12th going into the morning of the 13th. Sometimes you'll get a few extra ones on the days before or after, but the peak of the Perseids is quite constrained. If we come back here to the 12th, there it is at 85, the day after down to 55, the day after that 35, 20, 14, 9, basically not running at all within a few days. And the same if we go back, 85, 76, 49, 31, 20, 13, 8. You're barely seeing any from any time in the first week of August, even though it starts in practically mid-July. I don't want people to be disappointed when they go outside stargazing. That's why it's so important to me to say when things are difficult to see, to say when they're impossible from our latitude or from the city. The Perseid meteor shower, if you're not out on the night that it's peaking, if you're told that it's one of the best meteor showers of the entire year, which it is, if you go out and don't see any meteors, that can be disappointing, and I don't want people to be disappointed with the sky. The Perseid meteor shower is fantastic on the 12th of August. That's when I want you to go looking for it. If you can get out into the countryside to see it, even better. But I don't want anyone to be let down by going out in July or early August looking for the Perseids and seeing very few meteor showers. The Perseids are a fantastic meteor shower. They're one of the most reliable. Over the past couple of years, the amount of meteors we've seen in the sky has varied from about 100 down to about 60. And that's a pretty tight range. And that's generally quite a good range for a meteor shower. It doesn't have these incredibly high spikes the way the Leonids sometimes do, but it also doesn't have incredibly minimal periods. An average Leonid shower isn't as good as an average Perseid shower, even though the exceptional Leonid showers can produce a lot of meteors. The Perseids are more consistent, they're more reliable, as long as you go out on the dates when they actually peak on the 12th and into the morning of the 13th. We're going to push a little later here, getting closer to midnight, so the Perseids can get a little bit higher in the sky. Perseus, the constellation Perseus, this portion of the Milky Way, they're practically circumpolar. I think they might set but they never go very far below the horizon. They're always around here somewhere, and that radiant is going to get higher as we get a little bit closer to morning time. And then, of course, when the sun starts coming up, that's going to block out a lot of the meteors. But we really only have to worry about the sun coming up. The year before, the moon was very close to full on August 12th, and that made the Perseids almost impossible to see because of the light of the full moon. We've got a tiny, tiny waxing moon at the moment, and it's way over next to sunset, so we won't have to worry about it. Of course, I've mentioned plenty of times how amazing the sky is in August with all of these planets in a row. Neptune's out there, as you might remember from my previous video. Oh, there was a meteor, and that was just at the background rate of 10. I haven't turned up the meteor rate to mirror the Perseids and their rate of the 80s here, simply because it's so difficult to see meteors in stellarium. But one went past there, you know, there's a taste of what you might expect. I will just take a quick look in here to see how close Mars and Jupiter are together. Really, really close. Very, very impressively close in the sky. They do get closer over the next couple of days, but they're still very much coming up to a conjunction on the night that the Perseids are peaking, and early in the morning will be a great time to do it. We've got the Andromeda Galaxy there, we've got the Pleiades there with the Perseids. It's all coming together. We can see this kind of fin shape here. Oh, there's another one. Lovely. Really looked like that one was coming from the Perseids as well. That's really nice. And we can see this kind of fin shape here. There is our constellation of Perseus. I'll bring up the lines. That kind of fin shape. Perseus, I think, is really this part, with this being the head of the Gorgon Medusa. Let's check. There we go. And so we can see the radiant of Perseids kind of looks like it's in Camelopardalis here. Let me check the boundaries just in case. Indeed, they appear to be. So it looks like the Perseids are actually radiating from the constellation Camelopardalis. But such a minor difference. It's barely across the boundary line. And Perseus is a much more famous constellation than Camelopardalis. I mean, half camel, half leopard. That doesn't sound like a real animal to me. But Perseus, this famous hero, very famous story. Perseus rescuing Andromeda from the great whale Cetus, flying on the back of Pegasus and Perseus, or Andromeda's parents, Cassiopeia and Cepheus. I did have a video, I think last year, talking about the story of these constellations, but it is something I may go over again in the future. What's important for now is that the Perseids are coming up. They're coming up on the 12th when the moon will be out of the sky. They're a fantastic meteor shower to see, really, whether you're in the city or in the countryside. But most importantly this year, there's no moon in the sky to interfere, which is something that can happen. And if you've been let down by these other meteor showers, if at the end of July, when other sources were saying that 2 meteor showers happening both at the same time, or the Perseids crossing over with these minor meteor showers, when various sources were telling people that there was a lot of meteor showers going on, who all added together might give you 10 or 15 meteors in the sky, rather than the 85 we can see with the Perseids. If these other sources disappointed you, here is the honest truth. The Perseids will look good on the 12th. They might not look that good on the 13th or 14th, and they certainly won't look good very early in the month. Something to be prepared for next year as well. So that's the Perseids. There is more that could be said. The comet Swift-Tuttle, 109P Swift-Tuttle, is the parent body of the Perseids, but I did go over that in the last video about the Perseids as well, so I may talk about that more. Next year, next August, they will come back around again, as they always do. And that brings us up to sunrise. We can see the sun rising very soon. Jupiter and Mars do get reasonably high in the sky now before the light of the sun breaks in, but here it comes. We've got those famous constellations as well coming up later in the morning, and you can just about see, very faintly, that fin-shaped outline, even as the sun rises, even here in the city. Particularly Algol is one of the brighter stars in Perseus. But that's the Perseid Meteor Shower. I do hope that you get a chance to see some of the Perseids. I mentioned in another video about meteor showers, lie on your back and try and take in as much of the sky as possible. Wait until it's fully dark. You want the moon to be down, but closer to morning time isn't bad for the Perseids because it brings their radiant higher in the sky. The glow of sunrise, of course, will block out some meteors. But even with all that said, I still hope you get to see a few of them. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to like it. You can also get a little bit of extra information on my website, queebeanscontent.ie. And if you'd like to see more videos from me, you can help that happen by subscribing to my YouTube channel. And hopefully, I'll see you back here next time.